Anarchy, craziness. The Athletic releases its top 25
Oh my
rivalries in
gosh.
college football. And obviously, the Holy War, the Big 12's best rivalry, something that helps the economy of both schools and communities, should be top 10.
And our shows, remember, Drake, we're reminding
Our
people
shows.
about that now.
maybe their top 15 got snubbed out of the top 10, and we're kind of upset with that. No, outside of the top 25. Oh, did you know, Spencer, from 1995 to 2024, no two schools have played more games decided by 7 points or fewer. 18 of them. Ball State and Central Michigan, 17. BYU and Utah, 18 games in that span decided by 7 or less points. And the Athletic says we don't give a rat's butt.
Okay. This atrocity of a list put out by Scott Dochterman, DOCHT. Who puts CHT in a name? Okay. Doctorman. We'll just go with that. He's not a doctor of anything except dumb lists that rile people up. Maybe this guy was playing 7-dimensional chess, knew what he was doing by leaving certain schools off the list or ranking them in a couple of spots. But a rivalry, a truly great rivalry, is defined by the level of vitriol and disdain that the two schools have for one another. That means the coaches, that means coaches tend to have an ingrained level of respect. Sorry to spoil all that. Like Kyle Whittingham and Kalani Sitake, I bet you they would get together and have dinner and just kind of have a cordial conversation.
For sure.
But also they understand
BYU linebacker Kyle Whittingham, by the way.
Yeah, they understand how their fan bases feel about the other fan bases, how the players represent that on the field. When you're watching a rivalry football game that is a truly great college football rivalry, you are watching it and thinking at any point in time you're one play away from a fight getting started. Yeah. That's the way that I look at it. And one of the biggest differentiating factors between college football and the NFL is the rivalry games. Number one, because they're only one time a year. And number two, because they feel different. I've been told my whole life that Ravens and Steelers is some huge rivalry. And I get that it is. It doesn't feel the same. There are no stakes on that field compared to what you have just in the Holy War. So to leave it out for things like Iowa, Wisconsin, okay? Minnesota, Wisconsin, those two schools really dislike each other. Also, full disclosure, I've never watched a Minnesota, Wisconsin game start to finish. I watched Utah, BYU start to finish last year. I've watched a lot of Michigan, Ohio State. I've watched a lot of Iron Bowl.
Pitt, West Virginia, can I insert that? Also not in the top 25. Those two schools genuinely want each other to die.
The backyard brawl. Look, I'm not going to try and offend anybody here because it's not my intention. It's the outcome sometimes when I talk, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I am disgusted that neither the backyard brawl nor the Holy War are on this list. I'm more disgusted at the Holy War, just to be clear. But I would put the backyard brawl on here over Harvard and Yale. Are on, like, I mean, come on.
Number 5 is USC Notre Dame. Number 6 is Nebraska Oklahoma. These schools aren't even playing.
What is the three that make me the most upset on this list? Number 1, Nebraska Oklahoma. Get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Miami, Florida State. Does that bother you too? Florida State.
Yes, that one absolutely bothers me. I'm not saying it's not a quality matchup. I'm not saying they shouldn't play the game. Of course they should. And there's a little bit of extra juice. Don't for a second pretend that you are as dialed in as a college football fan to Miami, Florida State more than Utah against BYU or the backyard brawl. Are you kidding me? It's like this list is written by somebody who was a college football fan back in the 80s and 90s and turned off the television in protest of government spying conspiracies with all electronics in the year 2000. That's what happened here, because there is no sense to anything that is on this list that justifies putting Utah and putting the Holy War and the backyard brawl off the list. I mean, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl is fun. I like the Egg Bowl.
Yeah.
It's not better than those two.
But at the same time, I hate that Ole Miss, Mississippi State's at 23, followed by Clemson and South Carolina, then Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, because all three of those matchups have that intangible where you hate. Like, if you win, these are games that save a coach's career.
Mm-hmm.
When you win that game as the Mississippi State head coach against Ole Miss, that's your one. That's
By
Thanksgiving.
The way, Auburn, Georgia.
Is there a name for that? Is there a trophy? I don't even think there's a name for that.
I feel like there is, and I'm just forgetting it. But
Washington,
again,
Oregon, they hate each other. But it's not like,
Washington, Oregon is. I just didn't want to come on here and plug that a bunch as the Oregon guy. Washington, Oregon at 21 is a joke. Those two fan bases despise one another. Do you think Auburn and Georgia hate each other at the same level as the Backyard Brawl or the Holy War? The answer is no. Is it as much of a circle game for college football fans? No, it's not even close. This list is so backward. Like, Michigan State is a good, solid rivalry. Get out of here. Besides the drop punt, that game feels as big and as bitter as either the Big 12 matchups that are left off here, or Oregon, Washington, for that matter. Why is Wisconsin, Iowa on this list as a top 25?
Alabama.
Clemson, South Carolina, I'm actually behind. That's a good one.
I think that one needs to go up. Those are two schools. Again, your coach he gets to keep his job because he won that game at the end of the year if he's South Carolina right now.
Yes.
Alabama, LSU is like this rivalry forged in greatness. Just because they were both really good in the 2000s, but they don't hate each other like that. It's just like, damn, that was a really tough matchup.
It's a rivalry. It's a rivalry of respect.
Yeah.
It's two programs that can win the national championship that are really good. You know, when Bama played against LSU 2019, Joe Burrow, I mean, the NFL talent on that field, when you look back at it, was stupid. I mean, it was stupidly talented. Okay, I watched that game and thought, there's a big game in the SEC in the national championship picture. I didn't watch that game and think, oh my gosh, we're one play away from a fight every game.
Two heated rivals. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that. It was just these are two really, really good programs, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. But Auburn and Alabama, like, Auburn is on this list, what, 3 times? Twice?
No, 3 times. Should be 3.
Auburn and Georgia, Auburn.
Maybe it's 2.
It's 2. Okay, Auburn and Georgia should not be on this list over the 2 in the Big 12. It should not be on there ahead of Oregon, Washington. And you know what my favorite pick on this list is? Kansas, Missouri.
Sunflower Showdown, baby. Right? Is that what they call it?
That's a great pick. And realignment brought us back the Texas A&M Texas matchup. I'm so happy about that. Mm-hmm. But that back in the day it robbed us of Kansas, Missouri is a travesty. It's an absolute travesty.
Kansas doesn't hate Kansas State. No.
No.
Care. Those two schools were a battle of mid for a long time. Terrible for forever. I've been to the Holy War. I wouldn't bring a child under the age of 10. That's 2 fan bases steeped in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I wouldn't bring a child below the age of 10. That's a rivalry.
Okay. I'll close with this one. Do you know the biggest overlook? Oh, okay. All you need to do, go find this list on Twitter or the internet or wherever. The Athletic put it out there publicly because apparently they want to look like they don't know anything about college football. All you need to know about how insane this list is, number 6, 7, and 8 are Nebraska, Oklahoma, Miami, Florida State, and Ohio State, Penn State.
It sounds like some dude that just downloaded College Football 26 and was like, that's a fun matchup.
You like
in the list.
All those are in there. Bama, LSU, Georgia, Florida. Why? How are they in the top 15? How is it? Frankly, Texas A&M being at 15 is too low. It's way too low.
I want Iowa State, Kansas State on here above some of these. Those two schools hate each other. That's all they talked about in media days was beating the other one.